this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Track Limits Championship for race 7 of 9 from the Tokyo South Outer Loop with a fuzz zone. You'll find out all about that during the race from our commentators. So here we go then from Tokyo Expressway. And joining me on commentary is Ray. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. SGP, he's on pole position. Demon R in second place. And who's that in third, Ray?
We've got the Silver Shadow Twilight in third, Dave the Harp on fourth, followed by SRI. In
SRI?
fifth, SRI, then Steve F1.
So,
who's that?
I don't know, I wasn't looking. I think that was Bob, but then we got formerly Gary, and then Rich Blues in 9th place, and then Hay in 10th. I thought I'd get the first sound effect in this week.
I don't even know what that sounded like. It sounded like you were battering your cock over the...
No, it was a slap. Right, anyway, we'll get ready for the lights to go out, shall we, here in Tokyo. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away they go a little bit slowly, but in a cloud of smoke. They now head towards turn 1. SGP just ahead of Demon R, holding on towards turn 1. Ray's hovering, waiting to do a sound effect. I can tell because he's giggling. Oh, go on then. Oh, side by side.
Yeah, 2 by 2. Demon R's going for the lead. I don't know what corners these are, but we'll call them S's now. Dirty S's.
They're the dirty S's, yeah. SGP dropping down to second place, but it may be partially tactical that as we make our way towards the... I've called it the Pity Party hairpin, but I don't really like that name, but it is the hairpin.
Twilight looking inside. Is he going to get the run out the corner? No, he's not. Dave the Harp also there, ready to pounce as well.
Absolutely, because we're now on to a very, very long, not so straight as the pack is beginning to form behind the front 5. So SGP getting the slipstream now as they make their way into the Royal Tunnel. It is flat out in these cars, but not if you're side by side. As we see on the pack cam, a couple of cars tagging the wall. SGP's got a run, but Twilight's got a run on the both of them, has he? Or has he not?
He's got nowhere to go. Oh, he's using... I thought I'd seen him using the wall there. There's a few sparks.
Yeah.
SRI on Dave the Harp. Is he going to get there before the fuzz zone?
He does.
Looks like it.
Whoa, well. Big sideways moment. I think SGP got up alongside Demon R in the fuzz. We'll explain about that in a moment. So SGP's plummeting now. So we have a fuzz zone in the final chicane. You can't overtake through it, and there's a certain point where if you're ahead, it's your corner. And I think SGP got that very, very wrong on that occasion.
Yeah, no, he's still going backwards. He's down with Steve F1.
Oh, that he is. We're looking now at Dave the Harp, though, who's up to 4th place, benefiting I mean, you mentioned about is he getting up alongside SRI? I think SRI had just got ahead, a couple into the barrier, had just got ahead into the fuzz, so Dave had to concede it, but managed to benefit, and now going for the move round the outside, and the outside can work here, Ray, because you can get a much faster exit. It looks like SRI perhaps getting rid of a bit of a penalty.
Yeah, and Steve F1's actually lost a position since the start, so he's gone backwards as well. It's not like him.
Yeah.
But let's see how this battle unfolds through the Royal Tunnel.
Yep, up ahead, Demon R closing in on Twilight. Twilight leading the race. SRI right up. Davey Harp's rear wing, and on the pack cam we've got Steve F1 and Gary right behind Bob. SRI pulls out. You dummy. Sorry. I need to put a saying, you're full of shit. Sorry. Okay, so the chicane there was the fuzz. Oh, somebody's into the barrier at the fuzz on the back cam. I didn't see exactly what happened.
Oh, you see this guy? See this guy? Number one bullshit guy.
Yeah, Demon R got to run on Twilight. Now, interestingly, Ray, because Demon R has got Twilight ahead of him, and SGP and Steve F1 are much further back, does it make sense for Demon R to try and push and get past Twilight? Or does he perhaps just work with Twilight to try and open the gap?
Depends on his championship points and what he needs and what he doesn't need. So we'll soon find out what he's going to do.
Yeah,
to be
Twilight's
honest.
gone deep. He'll get away with it just as SRI still behind Davey Harp on the pack cam. Steve F1 headed to the pits on the pack cam. I think that's a very, very early stop. We're only 4 minutes in, but maybe that's he's wanting to get away from the traffic and get some clear track laps in.
Yeah, we got who's that on the back of SGP? Somebody who's right on the back of SGP as well.
I'm not
Don't know who
sure.
it was.
Demon R, he's got a bit of a run on Twilight, going side by side. At the same time, SRI got a run on Davey Harp. So side by side, they're going to go through the right-hander. Oh, little touch of the wall. Demon R just ahead at the barrier, going overhead now. So Demon R's position for the fuzz. SRI has to back out as well for David Harp for the fuzz. See, he backs out for David Harp, he doesn't for Kirsty.
That's a different story.
Well, yeah, that's true. On the pack cam then, Bob, who currently running in 6th place, that's who's behind SGP at the moment. Who's that side by side with Bob? I think it might have been Hey.
Oh no,
It's Hey, yeah. So interesting. Now Steve F1 pitted when he did. That's definitely going to mix things up because he could get a massive undercut. From what I can gather from the practice, we've had some drivers going very, very, very long on the super soft tyre. So we could be seeing one stops happening here. Steve F1 pitting as early as he has though, I doubt it's a one stop. But if he's going to be doing 10 more minutes before anyone else pits, he'll get a massive under. SGP's in the pits though.
Is he covering off Steve F1? I'm thinking Steve F1 might be onto some. Is it SRI and Dave the Harp and Royal Tunnel side by side? They got room.
Yep, nice to see.
Plenty of room there. And then we've got Twilight coming back at Demon R, maybe?
Yeah, he's closed back in on him, but on the pack cam, Bob and Hay battling, heading in towards the fuzz as SRI. Are they heading into the fuzz? Yes, they are. They're not too far behind. They're in the background. Oh, Hayes all into the barrier, that's going to be a little bit itchy for him, having rubbed his arse along the concrete barrier.
Yeah. There's Steve F1, where is he? He's 7th place, so... Gary, no, that must have pitted as well then.
That's what I'm thinking. So Steve F1 won't get as much a boost as he potentially would have done because others have pitted, but he's still going to be getting a lot more boost than first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So it could be interesting, especially depending on when these guys are going to pit. Definitely not now, so Demon are not looking at covering them off, neither is Twilight.
As we see Hay and Bob He's sideways a wee bit there.
Bob.
Where's Bob gone?
Oh, it's
Here's Bob.
spinning. Oh, no, it's spinning around. For a moment, I thought it was Conrad. Pat Cap's still on Bob, actually. Oh, is he trying to get into the pits? He is. Oh, sneaky. We'll see.
No.
Oh, dear. That's not worked for him, has it?
No, that's kicked him out.
Pit lane says no. Hang on. I know the perfect thing. Bob goes into the pits and the pit lane said no.
Where the hell have you put that? Because it's not on.
I'm not telling you.
Our Discord.
SGP. Side by side with Gary. Someone opened up their computer. Gary and SGP were side by side. Stop playing on your computer, Raymond. Concentrate on the commentary.
Yep. Steve F. No, that's Gary.
It's Gary.
Clobbering the curbs.
Don't make me hit you as well.
Why did it look blue for a minute there? It must just be the light.
Yeah, the lighting. Yeah, it's just the silver chrome. I suppose it's the night sky, isn't it? The night sky reflecting off the silver chrome. Side by side they go. Oh, big slide by Gary.
Yeah, and SGP still stuck behind. SGP would always slide in again. SGP going to try go round the outside, or is he going to go for a switchback?
Nearly clips the barrier. You know what? Gary did pit. He must have done. Looking at his how fresh his tyres are. We've got somebody else heading into the pits. That's Hay. Heading into the pits as SGP and formerly Gary side by side. SGP going for a long switch back, but really he would have wanted the slipstream, wouldn't it? Sound like my Oasis song. What you want?
That's Wonderwall.
I know.
A wee touch there. Yeah, I would have waited till about this point before thinking of overtaking. Try and get them out of position into the corner.
Interesting, looking at the pack cap, Twilight has caught up to the back of Demon R once again. Oh, Gary's gone a little bit wide as SGP got a run on him down to the fuzz barrier. He has, but not enough, didn't get ahead. Maybe he'll get Gary out of shape on the way out. No, Gary's had a good exit. And this is what I was on about, Demon R and Twilight. Twilight's really closed that gap.
Yeah, how's it going to... Demon R's tyres, they look not too bad, but half gone in the rear left.
Yeah, after 10 minutes, so could suggest being able to go maybe another 10 minutes. It'd be a risk. I think it's more likely to be a two-stop strategy, or either of them heading to the pit lane. No. Twilight making no attempt to make an overtake. Oh! Nearly made no attempt to go down the straight either. I was going to say no attempt.
I bet the flashing arrows got bigger in his vision there.
Oh, yeah.
I thought SGP was going for the pits.
No,
he's trying to get more speed out the corner to on the straight to get the overtake.
Yeah, he went for the much deeper line into the corner to get the better speed. Steve F1 back in the pits, by the way. And this is what you were saying, Ray, about making the move sort of more up here. This is a bit risky, though. Oh, he's gone for the switch back in the tunnel. Oh, not quite got it, though.
No. SGP's struggling with that. SGP's on racing soft tyres.
Oh, yes.
That might be why.
Ooh.
I wonder what tyres Gary's on.
Yeah, slightly hot ones. SGP does get ahead though, but you're right though. That could explain why it's taken a little while for SGP to be able to make a move past formerly Gary, because on the exit of the corners, Gary would have the grip. Steve
He's got the racing super softs. Gary has,
and they've got a bit more wear.
Still got the better grip, I would say, at the moment in time, because it's not that much of a wear.
I would agree. I mean, SGP's at risk here of Gary sort of latching on and slipstreaming him, but it all depends on how Gary goes through the corners, because if he pushes those tyres too much, he'll overheat them, whereas if you can look after them a bit, they'll carry the speed through the corners. Is in decent range, actually, to get a bit of slipstream here as SRI into the pits from third place.
I thought Gary was looking there, but he's just shown his face that he was there. But yeah, I think slipstream, Gary's going to have the slipstream coming down this straight. I won't be surprised if we don't see him go stick his nose in at the, I don't know what corner it is, the one after this.
You know what?
Tunnel.
It hasn't got a... Oh, SRI coming out of the pits right behind Steve F1. So Steve F1 has made 2 pit stops and is level with SRI. Here's Gary coming back at SGP.
What did I say?
Yep. Well, has he got the speed on the exit?
SGP's holding it.
Yeah. He's, I mean, SGP's done well there on the exit of that corner to have the speed as on the pack cam. Hay right up behind Rich, right up alongside Rich into the fuzz. I think he just backed out of that in time. I mean, I will mention we saw something happen on the first lap with SGP. I believe he was on the right-hand side of the track heading towards the fuzz and pressed the brakes and the car just slid straight on. He wasn't going for anything. The car just slid, and I think that's exactly what just happened to Hay as Hay making the move into one.
I just broke a wee bit to it. Oh, nearly took Rich out.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good driving. Oh, hey, do you know what your brakes are?
Demon Art into
I thought
the
there was
pits.
no wall riding in this league.
Yeah, there shouldn't be. I mean, what I will say is he made the move up one, got it very wrong, went straight on into the wall.
Oh, he's all over the back. Rich, he's pushing. He's not even... You can see the style of driving. He's quite aggressive.
Demon Art coming out of the pits, and I think SRI has just got ahead of him. Yes, he has. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, and Rich going side by side with Steve F1. This is getting interesting. Oh no, Steve F1 went side by side with Rich.
Yep.
As we see Hay in front.
Well, this would be an interesting situation now for Steve F1. We've just seen Hay. I think he was trying to sort of go one way and then another on Rich, and Rich was covering it off. But this is where Hay's going to have to be a little bit cautious, because if he gets anything wrong here, he could affect his good old chum. Clobber of the curb, Rich! Ooh! Wow! Who was that? It was SRI and Demon R coming past Rich Blues. The Rich Blues getting very sideways on the exit of the chicane. I wish I had a sound effect for that nudge.
Yeah, that was a brown.
Code wet brown.
Code wet brown, yeah. Yeah, look at that. It's put Demon R right on the backside of SRI. SRI's got to get past Hay quickly as possible.
Well, while that was happening at the...
Plus, he's still wanting to battle with Steve F1, because Steve F1 was 7th and SRI was 4th. So Steve F1 could be sitting 4th place overall here, as we go nearly enough 3 wide down the straight.
Technically, he's actually sitting net lead, because he's ahead of Demon R, who was leading before anybody pitted. So Steve F1 is in an interesting position. However, he did pit with about 11 minutes gone. So he's definitely got himself back into the fight for the lead here. Oh, Demon R tagging the wall as SRI has got a run on Steve F1. Dave Harp has just pitted as well. As he got around the outside as SRI got the grip. Oh, and Steve F1 a little wobble. Oh, he's just...
how's this going to pan out? Is people going to get slowed down in single file? Nice bit of driving from all the drivers there.
Yep. Very good, very nice. One thing we will talk about.
Oh, hey, look at all these chipping at the wall there.
Riders in the sky.
SRI clampered that. He didn't wall ride, he clampered the wall.
I was going to say, you don't wall ride.
He's clampered that again.
You don't wall ride by hitting the inside wall. Okay, so let's just have a quick recap. I was going to mention, we will talk a little bit more about the fuzz after the race actually, but Twilight, leading the race at the moment, has not pitted yet. Interesting. SGP has pitted. He's in second place. There's a bit of a gap between himself and Twilight. SRI having a look at the inside of Steve F1. Nothing happening, but I think he's just trying to get in his mirrors. So Steve F1 now third. He's pitted twice, so God knows when he'll pit again.
Well, could it go to the end? If people could one stop it, has he done enough time on the 2 sets of tyres that he's had? Oh well, the one set and then the next set. SRI going side by side. Oh!
I'll just take the wall in the background again, perhaps busy watching these two battle. It's interesting, SRI is definitely getting Steve F1 defending. That would suggest to me that Steve F1 is not going to the end. Oh, has he got the run? Has he got ahead? I don't think he
SRI's
has.
back. He's back down.
I mean, with that...
I think that was advantage by using the wall there for Steve F1.
Yeah. I don't care. It's allowed my favourite driver to close up. Now what? So Steve F1 defending. I think if he's wanted to save his tyres to get to the end, he's not defending, but he is defending. So I don't think he's going to the end. This battle has definitely brought Demon R into it as well. Perhaps to the non-awareness of SRI there, he'll be aware now. But Bob is also here, and so is Rich Blues.
Yeah, SRI tyres are okay, but what's Steve F1's like? Is he going for the pits now? He's not defended the corner.
No, he's gone.
Oh, SRI is going to be a bit deep.
Very deep. Twilight. Trying to double switch back. Watch out for the wall. Twilight's in the pits from the lead, by the way. Okay, we're going to go 3 wide down into the tunnel. I doubt it. Oh, go into the wall though. It's easily done there with a little bit of understeer. So
SRI apologising for going deep at the hairpin and maybe squeezing Steve F1 out a wee bit wide.
Well, he's not waiting and letting him through. Steve F1 having a look up the inside of DVR.
There was still a track.
Well, a track.
Yeah.
So I didn't bomb that country. Oh, Bob! Oh, Bob had a cheeky little look there, unless he just got a little late on the brakes.
Well, there's a track and then there's a pit lane track, so there's a track.
There's a track, but fair enough, I'll let you off. Bob just tagging the wall again. Is that Dave the Harp? Yes, Dave Harp's getting back into this battle now. Just got past Bob. So Dave pitted not long ago, actually. Twilight only pitted a lap ago. I don't think Twilight could get to the end, because I think if he could have done, he'd have gone a little bit longer on this first stint, which potentially then puts SRI. Yes, I was going to say SRI in that lead, but SGP's leading, and he has pitted once.
Yeah, it just depends how long he can take his tyre. Look, we've got Dave the Harp in the background here. He'll be looking to get in practice. He's been proven very, very quick. Who's in the pit? Steve F1. Oh, he's 20 minutes to go. He's throwing in a curveball.
Yeah, he's either going to be pitting again or he's going to try and get to the end from here. Demon R trying to make the move on SRI, side by side into the Royal Tunnel. Have to be so careful you don't bang your head on the walls here. Dave the Arp closing in. Demon R manages to get ahead. They're both going to have to watch out for Dave though, and it looks like Demon R tried to cover him off as well. Who's going to be ahead of the fuzz? Oh, Dave's got to run, but I think SRI may just still be ahead. Yes, he is. And so Dave slots in. I must admit, I do think the fuzz works. I do want to talk about it more afterwards, but it definitely. I think some people may think it takes something away from the racing. I think it actually adds something. So a brilliant battle going on here. SRI's rear left tyre not looking too shabby. Dave the Arms actually dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, because he was right on the back of Demon R. Maybe he's just taking a wee briefer and ready to attack.
Yeah, maybe. Quick question for you, Ray. Do you know what propaganda is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Propaganda is where, like, views pushed against you type thing.
Oh, right. I thought it was when a British person takes a really close look at something.
Proper.
Dave the Arp's got to run on SRI here, heading towards the Royal Tunnel. This could be interesting. It's kind of important for Dave at the moment as well. little bit of a touch. Oh, a little bit into the back. Oh, big. Oh, no. Somebody called the photographers. SRI's facing the wrong way. Oh, he may have just been collected again. Oh, dear. Well, someone was going to have a crash in the tunnel, weren't they?
Yeah. Had to be SRI, Yeah, I didn't really see much of what happened there. I think there's a little bit of contact. Can't see what the cause of the contact was, and then SRI into the pit wall. No, the tunnel wall, not
to
pit
the
wall.
tunnel wall, yeah. Okay, so let's, I'm going to sneeze. Let's not try and do that on the microphone.
Hey, going sideways into Dirty S's. He's got Gary behind him. Let's see what Gary can do, and yeah, we can still hear you. You get muted when you fucking sneeze.
Well, I moved away.
It was still loud as anything. Blow the earwax out my ears.
It's a good job I didn't stay next to my microphone then, isn't it?
Gary looking for a move on the inside. No, he's going for the pit.
It's a bit deceptive, that, wasn't it? I think Hay is going for the pit, yeah. I think Gary was looking for... The thing is, it's very easy to do that kind of thing. If you think about it in F1 as well.
SRI's went into the pits as well.
Ooh.
23 of, what's that?
17
minutes. Oh.
Well, maybe he's trying to cover off Steve F1, because Steve F1 pitted 3 minutes ago. SGP's tyres, he's not getting to the end. He's got to pit again.
But SRI had the crash, so I don't think he'll be able to cover off Steve F1, would he?
That's true, so maybe SRI wasn't covering off. Maybe he was just got dead tyre. Oh, Demon R going deep! That's the first chicane. That's not the fastest way to take it.
It's going to give Dave the Harp a run on him.
That it
is. Dave the Harp going to catch him for turn 1.
He might have a good chance, I reckon.
Was he just that wee bit too far back?
I'll tell you what that has done. It's given SGP a bit of a breather, because I think Demon R was closing in on him, you know.
Yeah. Was Dave the Harp's tyres, they're okay. He's got no problems. When did Demon R pit?
Demon R pitted after about 14 minutes, I think, 13, 14 minutes.
I think Dave the Harp's got the fresher tyres, because he pitted and he was coming up behind.
Yeah,
Demon R.
Well, Dave the Harp pitted later, didn't he? Looks like Demon R's going for the pit lane now. So if Demon R did a 13-minute stint early, he's going for a 15-minute stint now.
Oh, here comes Steve F1.
Yeah.
Who's that? Gary?
I was about to say as well, I'm wondering if Demon R has pitted now to cover off Steve F1, although he's not going to be ahead of him
could
here.
It be SRI?
Well, it could be. Gary and Bob side by side through the Royal Tunnel, or heading towards the Royal Tunnel. It's the Royal...
Get your cameras out.
Yep. The Queen is dead, long live the King. So Demon R, as I'm covering off Steve F1, by that, what I mean is losing a little less time. If he stays out, he loses more time to Steve F1. And,
who's ahead here? Oh, Bob, did Bob just get that? I'm not too sure.
I think Bob was just ahead. I mean, this is one of the great things about it. There's absolutely no problem with fighting all the way to the fuzz point as Demon R and SRI on the pack cam, now on the main screen. So although SRI had his crash, he actually managed to jump Demon R by pitting a couple of laps earlier. So maybe it was to cover off SRI that Demon R pitted when he did.
Yeah, it depends if they both are going to go at the end and how they work. Demon R looks like he's working with SRI, burn drafting him.
Is SGP going to pit though? The pit lane is just ahead of him. His tyres are spread all over the road because he's hardly got any rubber left on, and he's carried on.
Yeah. We've got here, we've got Rich Blues. Is that here?
It is, yeah.
You'd think with my fucking specky 4 eyes now that I can see more. It's not happening. I can see the wording better.
I thought Richard disappeared then, but he's gone into the pit lane. So SRI.
And Richard's on the softs. He's not on the super softs.
Yeah, he was on the softs. Maybe he felt he was struggling for grip on the supers, so try the softs. I mean, the softs are actually a very nice tyre around this track. SRI Demon R catching up to Hay, and we know that Hay is not going to be making this easy for anyone. And that's absolutely certain. As he goes to cover the inside line, Demon R's got a bit of a run on SRI, but as you mentioned a moment ago, I think he's not attacking SRI, is he?
Hey, oh, hey.
Ooh! Toad Brownie Brown.
Yeah. Demon R get the benefit of that.
Once again, yeah. Cheers, Hay. To be fair, it's very easy to end up doing what Hay did there. Bob and Gary just got very close on the pack cam. But yeah, if Demon R wasn't looking at attacking SRI, it'll be interesting to see if he's going to sort of defend. Is SGP going to go for the pits? He's not. He's going for it. Why would he keep going? He's got a pit. Sure, Dave's closing in on him. I mean, Dave's got another pit stop to do. I don't know about Twilight. Twilight pitted with 21, 22 to go, didn't he?
I can't remember.
His tyres look good, though.
22? Unless he's pitted.
He didn't get halfway when he pitted. I think he's been very, very gentle on his tyres here. So Twilight's in actually a brilliant position. Because looking at it, SGP, I'm sure he's got a pit. Dave the ARP, I believe he's going to have to pit. Oh, Dave getting a little bit slidey. He's just ahead. I mean, it's a bit tricky, that one. I mean, he may not have known he'd given... Oh, look at the pack cam. Oh, Demon R and SRI. No, yeah, Demon R and SRI trying to squeeze past Gary. I think they were both ahead before the fuzz. Gary now getting out of shape.
SRI's ahead of Demon R again.
Yes, he is. I don't know how.
Demon R was ahead of SRI after the last fuzz.
Well, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if it was shown on the pack cam, but there was a lot going off. Steve F1 closing in now on Twilight and Dave the ARP. So this is fascinating. Okay, I believe SGP has got to pit again. There's no way he can get to the end from here, I don't believe. Dave the Harp, I believe, has got to pit again, which means it's Twilight battling Steve F1 for the lead of the race. But will Steve F1 need to pit again, or will Twilight? Twilight's making the move on Dave. Steve F1 making the move on Twilight and Dave. But Dave will get the faster exit from the wider line. But now he could be a sitting duck. And on the pack cam, we've got Bob under pressure from SRI and Demon R.
Yeah, it's just how we go through the slipstream through the Royal Tunnel here, and when people decide to try and make the move. Dave the Harp covering off Steve F1, but that lets Twilight up at the inside.
And it does, and on the pack cam, Demon R was bump drafting SRI all the way past Bob, and then Demon R hit the wall. And that's put himself under a little bit of pressure. Twilight stays ahead. Steve F1 can't get ahead of Dave into the fuzz. So that puts Twilight into the best position. I think Twilight can get to the end. SGP's, I think he's had an error somewhere because Twilight's on him. Yeah, SGP, yeah. We didn't see it, but he's had a mare. Twilight is passing him for the lead of the race. And I think SGP may have just lost any chance of winning this. Oh, Steve F1 up the inside of Dave, and maybe even up the inside of SGP. He is. Oh, it's going for a bad to worse for SGP.
And Pat Cam, Demon R still trying to get past SRI, but yeah, Dave the Harp couldn't get past SGP. He's going to have to push and try and get past and keep up with these unless he's going to pit.
Well, I think Dave needs to pit again. And I don't know when that'll be. So
SGP in the pits.
Yep, Dave carries on. Bob into the pits. So Twilight.
SRI in the pits.
Oh, yeah. Well, Demon R was working with SRI, but maybe SRI's thinking that the tyres won't get to the end. Steve F1, looking at his tyres, I think he'll try and get to the end. He's already done 10, 11 minutes on them. He should be fine. So this would be a great battle then between these two for the lead of the race. Twilight going to the inside. If he can chuck it up the inside into the right-hander, he should have the lead into the fuzz. Yes, he does. Now cover off the switchback. He's got that covered, lovely. Steve F1 will have to back out of it. and Twilight can focus on where he's putting his car. Steve F1 a little wobbly. Twilight maybe a little wobblier, but manages to get away with it. And in the background, Demon R making a move on Dave the Art for third place. Dave had a bit of a mare of a fuzz, so Demon R up to third place now. Steve F1 going for the lead.
Yeah, Steve F1 still battling with Twilight into turn 1.
Oh, that he is.
Steve F1 taking the position.
Okay, so
Yeah.
SGP after his
What'd you
pit
get
stop.
from a dwarf cow?
Oh God. Mini milks.
What?
Mini milks.
Condensed milk.
Oh, I thought mini milk was a good answer though. The little Ashland mini milks. So SGP, by the way, has just patched Rich Blues on the pack cam. Twilight still in a great position to attack Steve F1. And Demon R's actually closing in on them rapidly. And Demon R's got the fresher tyres. Dave the Harp into the pits now. I fear that may be too late for Dave to really get the maximum benefit of the tyres. Wow, I've just seen SRI giving Rich Blues a good punch.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Hey, into the pits. Twilight all over the back of Steve F1. Is he going to try and do the same thing again? Up the inside, into the fuzz. Or into the corner before the fuzz. Steve's going to throw it round the outside. And Twilight can't hold on. Oh, what a move. Lovely bit of racing here. Twilight's rear left is starting to hurt now.
Yeah, I would have nearly a wee bit wide on the exit of that chicane there. Just got to watch how far you go over that area before you get a penalty.
Absolutely.
Demon R isn't really catching them much now that he's caught up to them. His distance kind of staying mediocre, but we'll see through the dirty S's, he's better tyres working against Twilight.
Well, this is where I think it is going to be. I mean, there's still 6 minutes to go, and Twilight's tyres
he's right on there, I see him.
Yeah, so through the corners, he's definitely got a lot more grip. Also, I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Demon R is not pushing too much, because they're doing a 15-minute stint on the tyres. Is he going to try and go around the outside? I would doubt it. He's surely got to... Yeah, he's taking a wider line to slot in the slipstream. The thing is, though, Steve F1 has broken away a little bit here. So Demon R is going to need to get a shift on. Or does he do something different, Ray?
Well, and push Twilight along.
Yeah.
But then it depends if Demon R knows if he's got his tyres are a wee bit struggling. So if Demon R knows when he Twilight last pitted, and if it's worth pushing him along to help them. But he's overtook him before the first zone, so I'll give him a wee breather through the first chicane. Oh, I thought he was going to clip the wall there.
It was close. I think though Demon R was...
Look at the gap now that Demon R's pulled, so it would have been more beneficial for Demon R to make the move when he could.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he did the right thing in the tunnels, bump drafting Twilight, because perhaps to try and latch back onto Steve F1's slipstream, but he definitely had to go for the move into the next corner. And we saw through this set of corners on the previous lap, Demon R really closed in on Twilight, and now he's really closed in on Steve F1. I don't know what condition Steve F1's tyres are in, but I think they're going to be considerably more worn than Demon R's at the moment. So I think Steve F1 can defend this all he wants. He might even try and let Demon R past at this point, so he can slipstream him back. Go on.
I thought Steve F1 was a wee bit slide round that corner. It just might have been a camera angle.
I think he might have been sliding as well. I think he might have been happy to have lost the position there to get the slipstream. But I think Demon R is going to do exactly what he did with Twilight. Bump draft Steve F1 all the way up towards the corner and then drive past him because he's got the better tyres.
Depends if Steve F1's going to defend it. Yes, he is.
A little bit of a Mansell, a Mega Mansell switch. Is he going for the inside? Oh, not quite got it. On the pack cam, it's getting busy as well. I think Davey Arps just tagged the barrier. That's let Bob past him. SRI is not far away from SGP. These two side by side. Round the final corner, it's got to be a switchback. It is a switchback. Now, interestingly, if Demon R can get ahead into 1, I think he pulls away, you know, because of the extra grip through that first sector we've seen on the last couple of laps.
It depends what Steve F1's tyres are like. We know he's a great tyre saver, so he's like the Max Verstappen type guy, Alonso type guy that can save their tyres and still go fast.
Yep, that he is. But Demon R has opened that gap up, but has he opened up enough before the hairpin?
I don't think he has.
No, because I think sort of within 0.8 of a second up at the front, and the car behind will still get the slipstream. The question is, how is Steve F1's traction going to be? It's actually very good. Twilight's still there as well, hanging on. And on the pack cam, it looks like we've got a 2 or 3 way battle down into the hairpin. Oh, Bob getting close to the back of SRI, but manages to make the corner. And that's the battle there on the main screen now. So SGP, after his bit of a nightmare partway through this race, back up to 4th, but a big gap between 3rd and 4th at the moment. Dave and Bob, side by side.
SRI's going to have to watch because he's got 3 guys on his tail end here. Who does he defend from?
I would say none. Just try and go around the corner as fast. Well, actually, no. Defending this corner is not a bad idea. But if Bob's got decent grip, which it looks like he hasn't, he can't hold it around the outside.
He's got the tyres, but he's on the racing softs as well.
Ooh.
There are a few drivers on the racing softs.
Interesting. So Demon R, his tyres looking fairly good, you know. Steve F1, no wonder he couldn't keep Demon R behind him. Twilight's are actually in better condition than Steve F1's. SGP's are in really good condition, but he is quite some way behind 3rd. So I think Demon R may be safe. Well, I say safe. I think he's got to make sure he doesn't make an error.
We've got
1:15 to go.
1:15.
Yeah.
Twilight!
Oh, big slide! Oh, he's managed to keep facing the right direction. It's no surprise he struggled there, though, with that amount of wear. Dave the Arp coming under pressure from Bob in the hairpin. SRI will be loving this. Big tank slapper from Hay, and a double tank slapper. Easily done that, especially if your tyres are a little bit worn. But yeah, I was going to say SRI will be loving all this because it means that he can keep a little bit of a gap between himself and Bob, although Bob is now closing in, but Dave's closing in on Bob.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Ray? This may be the last lap for the pack. There's 20 seconds to go with the leading 3 heading into the final corner. I think they'll... he is in the wall. So SRI, what have you got?
I don't know. I can't let it go.
Oh, Bob sideways in the middle of the corner. Who's that snuck past? It was Hay and Gary. So SRI's going to hold on. Is SGP going to get the extra lap as well? I think SGP has. It's going to be over. So SRI will cross the line in 5th. Dave the Harp in 6th. Hay in 7th. Bob in 8th. I can't quite see who was in 9th there, but a lot of positions changing on that final lap. And then... we can have a bit of a procession now, can't we? Demon R leading the way.
Gary, I think Gary was there.
Oh yeah. I think you might be right there. Yeah. Rich Blues may have finished in 10th there. So SGP trying to close in on Twilight. He's still got half a lap to try and do it. It's possible. We know Twilight's got no tyres left. I think he's pretty much got nothing on the rear end. Excuse me, but has he got the grip? I mean, he's only really got the long right-hander, longish right-hander, and the fuzz to go. Demon R, though, has managed to open up that gap to Steve F1, and having taken the championship lead the last time out, is going to open that championship lead unless I've gone and cursed him down into the... I thought he was going so slow, he was going to park then. Definitely making sure he doesn't make a mistake. Steve F1 coming through the chicane. Twilight on the pack cam, gets through safely. SGP's pushing. Demon R takes the victory here in Tokyo. And Steve F1 is going to finish in 2nd. Is Twilight going to hold on for 3rd? It is
SGP
close.
wasn't that far back, was it?
No, he wasn't. He's done really well to close in. And I tell you what, if he'd not had, two things. If he'd not had that bit of a mare on the first lap at the Fuzz, it'd have been much further up the road. And if he'd have not had whatever moment it was that we didn't see, he'd have been much further up the road as well. Oh no.
What?
My computer's frozen.
I can still hear you.
It's my own fault though. I left too many windows open. Boom, boom. It's a joke, right? It's a joke. It was a joke. Okay, so what a race once again. Yeah,
fantastic. Like, yeah. Do you think we'll ever get a race where we can have a breather?
Well, no.
The guys, it's not scripted or anything, but they put on a show.
Absolutely.
They always put on a show. They do not disappoint with the racing.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what was interesting there as well was SGP was only a little bit ahead of SRI. I think it was about 4 seconds or something like that. So the pack was so close to getting that extra lap. And if they had have got that extra lap, it would have been interesting to know could anything else have happened, because there was SRI and Dave on much fresher tyres than Twilight and Steve F1. So it would have been interesting. I think SGP would have got Twilight. He'd have had a chance at Steve F1, but that would have needed another lap. But yeah, an absolutely brilliant race. Strategy, yeah.
We're all out the window.
Absolutely. Well, I think a big part of it, Steve F1 pitted. So was it Steve F1? No, SGP pitted first. I think, after 5 minutes. Yeah. Now, I would hope that was planned, or I don't know, but I believe it was planned. But even then, that's very early time to pit, unless he wasn't planning on pitting again. It's an interesting one. Steve F1.
Oh, did they not do 2 pits though?
He did.
SGP?
He did, but I've got a feeling he wasn't planning on pitting again. Because I think if he was going to pit again, I think he'd have pitted earlier. About 15 minutes to the end or 10 minutes to the end to really benefit from the boost, staying out.
He had the moment, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so maybe that's what he was thinking. I mean,
cool.
Why? Because looking at it, was it SGP pitted after 5 minutes? Twilight got to a bit before halfway. So Twilight's tyres would have been fresher than SGP's, a lot fresher. But if SGP felt he could have got to the end, had he not come under attack, then maybe. But yeah, not to be though. Twilight, though, I think has had a brilliant race. He's done a one-stop. He's led the race. He's finished third. There was an opportunity to finish higher up. I do often wonder though, with someone like Twilight or SGP, when you're as fast as they are, why not go with the strategy where you can push the tyres a bit more rather than looking after them? Why not do the extra pit stop and drive faster? But then that's just my own opinion, I suppose. Right, anything else to add to that race?
Fantastic driving. Guys worked the fuzz on as best as they could.
Yes.
Which was fantastic. The way they conducted themselves through it.
Yeah, I mean, why will...
Except for that, hey.
Well, and that SGP. But I mean, I did mention I wanted to talk a little bit about the fuzz. There's a couple of things we're going to talk about here, folks, because there isn't a G-spot this week. Although, after seeing this footage, if you want us to look at anything, by all means, let us know. But it'll be next week that we G-spot it. So, the fuzz. it's one of those things where it's not a norm. It's not something from that other people would know a lot about, and some people may think it's a complete waste of time. However, I do think, especially at this track, that chicane, any cars that try going through there side by side is going to end up in a crash, and we don't want that. We'd rather have racing. So by implementing that fuzz zone, it does a number of things. It allows people to fight as hard as they can up to a point. Then they have to slot into single file, or as best as they can, to get through the chicane. But what it does is, one thing I noticed was, it meant that you never really had to worry about the chicane. You didn't have to push through the chicane. You just had to focus on where am I positioning my car for the corners, which is better for the drivers. It also means if you've got a few cars battling up to it, they battle up to it, they go through the corners, they battle beyond it. It prolongs the fight rather than ending up with one or more in the wall. So I think it adds to the racing while also helping the drivers sort of educate themselves of, okay, I'm not ahead. The best thing for me to do here would be to back out. Now, I'm not saying that this is a rule that should stand at every corner. It's not. But there are times when you're racing side by side with someone where it's a good idea to back out of it, because it's not going to be of an advantage to you, even if you make the overtake.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah.
And and previous times when we've raced there and we've got down to that area before we introduced this fuzz zone, there was the crashes, there was.
Yeah.
We didn't have. Well, we don't have in this, so that's irrelevant. I was going to say track limit. So that's. Oh, we do have track limits.
Yeah, we do, but
we didn't have back. We didn't have them back there, but so people could go side by side, and maybe somebody would maybe cut the corner just that little bit, but. It would be hard, and Stuart's looking into all the incidents and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think what it did, introducing it, brought out a different kind of style of driving for that certain area, and we do have it at certain other tracks, not every track, and it brings out that thinking process of, right, I'm not going to be ahead of the fuzz zone. How can I get through the fuzz and get as close to them as possible that I can attack them into the next braking zone?
I mean, it's something I've noticed as well. If you remember, when we raced here and we didn't have the fuzz, there was a lot of overly, I'm trying to think of the proper word, the overly confident attempts at overtaking into the right-hander before the chicane, because people were wanting to try and get ahead before the chicane. Whereas what I've noticed the few times we've raced here with the fuzz is, yes, people are battling through the right-hander, but it's actually more precision-based, because if you get a bad exit, you could actually be losing multiple places down at the fuzz. I do think it's not just helped in that corner, it's helped in that whole area. It gives a better right-hander before, and it gives a better run through the final corner and more battles on the exit of the chicane. And that again is another feature that sort of we've tried to explain to drivers before, that you don't always have to try overtaking on the way into corners. It can be faster overtaking on the way out of corners. And that's something I do like, and we've seen it from a few drivers here today, the different lines taken through the hairpin of, I don't want to get too close to the car in front, so I'm going to take a nice wide deep line so I get a better run down that long straight. So yeah, brilliant racing all around. I'm sweating, it's been a hot one.
Yeah, my kids had a day off today, so I took them to the park.
Yeah.
And a lady asked her, "These all your kids? Why did I've got my kids at the park? Why would they ask if they were my kids?" Me being me, I replied, "No, I work for a condom company. These are customer complaints."
Oh Jesus. oh. Oh God. Very good. If that was true, very good. If that was a joke, also very good.
It was a joke.
It was a joke. Okay. I was, as you were setting up, I was thinking this sounds like a setup to a joke, but with you never know. Okay.
Would you call a cow with 3 legs?
Lucky.
Lean beef. Would you call a cow with no legs?
Rolling beef.
Ground beef.
Oh, fucking hell.
Would you call a cow with 2 legs?
Go on, I don't know.
Your mum.
Oh!
Sorry, my number. Sorry, my number 1 fan.
Oh! That's a good joke.
Sorry, my number 1 fan. I apologise.
To be fair, she find that funny. Okay.
See what happens when I have a week off?
Yeah. Don't go searching the internet. Jesus. Right, okay. Next track, Raymond. Come on, let's talk next track.
Oh, Nürburgring GP. I'm right, Anna.
You are, yeah.
It's one of my favourite.
Yeah. It's an interesting track because track limits wise, there is a few corners that people could get caught out on, and that's the whole idea of having the track limits on. It's why
especially turn 4.
Yes.
You know, that right-hander, but it's got that runoff area.
Yes. Well, it's not just the runoff, is it? It's the apexes of the left-hander before it and the right-hander. So the whole situation there could be interesting. Also, I will quickly mention Nürburgring in these cars. It's a track where I don't think you're going to benefit much by pushing. You'll benefit more by being smooth. So smooth and gentle with your brakes and smooth and gentle with your throttle and steering will be faster than like trying to go flat out hard on the brakes, flat out on the throttle, and loads of steering. But also
we might see a few deeper turn 1.
Yes.
For late braking, and chicane will be interesting.
Yes, and just to clarify, there is no fuzz at Nürburgring.
Michael Schumacher S's.
Yes.
When we done our free lapper, it was quite interesting going through there.
Yeah, it's not quite flat out, I don't think. I can't remember.
No.
But also, I think if you're following someone, it definitely isn't. We had a few sort of understeer wide. Because I think you can go flat out in the first bit, but then you go wide on the exit. So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. And as the tyres wear, it's not going to be an easy track, because with it being like turn 1 is very heavy braking, very tight corner, so it's very heavy on the throttle. If you're losing grip, that's going to be an awful corner. But then that whole first sector, that whole first sector is dependent on having front end grip. And if you haven't got front end grip, you're not going to turn into the corners. And if you slide off the racing line, and this is kind of what I was mentioning about being smooth, through that first sector, even into all the way to the Schumacher S's actually, the racing line is where the grip is. I know that sounds simple, but it's true. If you get, I'm thinking about, okay, turn 1 is the hairpin, then you got the uphill left-hander 2, the tight left-hander 3, into the right-hander 4, which is where there's the runoff on the left. The next left and right-hander, I view those as 2 of the most important corners on that track, because if your car can't get through those 2 corners, you're going to struggle for the whole rest of the lap. And this
you might find the left-hander will get through fine, but it's that right-hander.
Yes.
The car tends to slide, whether it's because the tyres have been put under too much heat into the left-hander beforehand, or you're just offline.
Yeah.
I found the car was a wee bit slidey.
And that's the thing. In those corners, if your car's sliding, it's going to hurt your tyres. But it might not be sliding because you've hurt your tyres. It could just be that you've pushed that little bit too much, or you've braked that little bit too hard, or downshifted that little too soon, or steered that little bit too much. But they're a very good set of corners to know if you've got a nice flow for the track, because the whole of the first sector is a little bit awkward, a bit tricky, but those two is all about rhythm and car position, and they're two of my favourite corners. But yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic track. It is also one that historically we've seen quite a few crashes at. It can happen, and we're aware of that. So I would say drivers try and use your eyeballs.
Yeah, especially as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, excuse me. There was something else I was going to mention as well, but I can't remember.
I'll mention some. What do you get when you cross an angry sheep with an angry cow?
Oh God, a woolly something.
You get two animals in a bad mood.
Oh my God.
Come on, I thought you had a week off. I thought you'd have them. What? What? Was it squirrel?
If I could find the next one, I'd say it's.
I can't hear you. You cut out.
That's not mate. You're a ball bag. The thing is, right, get this. I spent ages yesterday recording loads of little audio clips to put on the sound effects thing today. But I didn't forget. I just got tired today, went for a nap, slept for way too long, and didn't have time to sort them out. So there was loads I was going to have on, but yeah, not to be. Okay, there was something else I wanted to just quickly talk about before we get to confirmed race result and championship standings, which is to do with the next championship. We revealed it a couple of weeks ago, and it doesn't have a name yet. At the moment, I'm calling it the Multi-Car Championship, but excuse me,
multi-class.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, so we'll come up for a name with it. But I just want to sort of touch on a little bit of the thought process of it and the format. So the format really is quite simple. There's going to be 10 races, and there's going to be a different car for each race. At the first, and it's going to be done over 5 weeks. At the first week, there'll be qualifying in, I think it's the VW Beetle, the road car, at DGT side. Then there'll be a 20-minute race in the Beetle. Then after that, we'll have a 10-minute break, and then we'll have a 20-minute race in the Aston Martin DBR 9, I think it is, Group 3 car. And the grid will be formed by previous result reversed. So it'll be a reversed grid.
Race results, yeah. Yeah,
race result reversed. Will set the grid, and that'll then continue on for the rest of the championship. So there won't be any more qualifying after that. At each week, there'll be a race in a road car, then a race in a race car at the same track. So week 1, it's the VW Beetle and the Aston Martin. I think race 2 is the Honda S800 and the Renault Megane. I'm guessing off the top of my head now, but that's how the process will work. It'll be 20-minute race in a road car, 10-minute break, 20-minute race in a race car. Now, for anyone that may be wondering, why are we doing something like that? As you like to say, Ray, well, you are Dynamic GT League, so you'd like to change things about. But there is a process to this. Hopefully it's not going to be too long until GT7 is ready. However, we decided last year that over the summer months when school kids are on their summer holidays, we won't do league championships, we'll do dirty championships. So people don't have to miss out on the league events if they're going away with kids. That sounds wrong. If they're going away with their kids. So unless you're like Ray, you're a condom tester. So GT7 for us isn't even in the picture until after the summer holidays, at the very earliest. So that means for GT Sport there are a number of cars that we would have liked to have done championships in, and these are 10 of those cars. So rather than not getting to do a championship in them, we're using them all in one championship. That's quite simple, really.
And also if GT7 isn't ready afterwards, we've still got other cars there that we want to use, and we just we test on GT7, we test on GT Sport, and we figured out, well, maybe these cars would be better in GT7 with the new physics and everything,
different options,
and keep these ones on GT Sport. The handle and everything's pretty decent and whatnot. So we just had to come to that decision of, right, split them, put them there. But if GT7 isn't ready enough, then
carry on sport. I mean,
we carry on sport, but we've always got cars we're testing to put another championship on the go. So
I suppose to sort of clarify on that as well, just in case anybody, I didn't quite put it across right. The next championship is potentially the last Gold Star Championship on GT Sport. That's kind of what Ray was sort of hinting at there as well. But it is only potentially, and that's why we're using the multi-cars. The cars that we've wanted to use but haven't been able to, we'll get them all out in one go. With, as Ray said, quite a few that we've gone, well, actually, we'll save that for GT7. Or if GT7 isn't ready, we know we've got other cars that we can use in the next championships staying on GT Sport. And then obviously in the summer months we'll have the dirty championships, of which I believe we've got 2 cars, different cars set up for that. And I do believe as well, I think SGP, Steve F1, Ray and I were talking about this not long ago, that when we get to the dirty sort of championship part of the season or the year, the Monday night practice, what we'll probably do there is turn that into a GT7 night, so that we can get as many people on as we can, help people get through the game, but also so that we can test it with more people, because that is one of the things we still need to do, is have as many cars on the grid as we can, because I know with 3 or 4 the stability's not been looking good.
Yeah, you still have that wee. It's not lag as in major lag, like back
Jason.
and forward. But, the sweet. It's more just a little jump to the left or the right the car has while going round corners, and we're just hoping they can get that sorted as well. With this championship coming up, we know people wouldn't want to do a full championship in the Porsche, so I've got my fucking Porsche in there.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the electric Porsche. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was put to it, and the only way it's ever going to get used in a championship is like this. So yeah. Now, some of the cars that have been picked in this in the multi-car may get used in a championship. It doesn't mean that these would never get used in a championship. So anyway, there we go.
Yeah, definitely. Like if we decide to do one, we'll do one on GT7, because it's a whole different game. So a whole different physics. So the cars are different. So
that's true.
Yeah, if we decide to do one, we do one. And
okay. Yeah, true.
get some feedback with drivers on the way we've been picking our championships.
Yeah.
Would be nice, and just so we know we're going in the right direction and whatnot.
Absolutely. Quick question for you. Do you know where you were conceived?
Where I was conceived?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
In my mum's womb.
Oh, right, okay. I was conceived on the motorway. Well, it is where most accidents happen.
see, I was a planned child.
Fair enough.
I was a planned child, the only planned child out of a family of 5, and I had the fucking heart condition.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, Mum does like, I'm never planning a child again.
Plans are great until you get punched in the face, according to Mike Tyson. I got a message from Jason the other day saying I'm running in the Scandinavian Marathon. It starts in Norway. I asked him, where does it end? He said, the finish line.
The finish. Finland.
I spent the weekend just gone with a lovely girl.
Jason, let's talk about Jason. He thought it was Wednesday.
That's a good point, actually. Jason missed this week's race because he thought it was Wednesday when it was actually Thursday. So it's nice.
He replied on Friday.
Yeah, messaged on Friday. Can you imagine him getting ready for the race and going, hang on a minute, where is everyone? No one's online. And then getting ready to go and send a message going, is there a lobby? And going, hang on, that says Friday. Oh, fucking hell.
I just hope he done something.
Yeah. So I spent the weekend with a girl last weekend, and it was going okay. Then it was going okay, and eventually I said to her, "Damn girl, you're a newspaper." No, sorry. Damn, I'll try that again. Right, I spent the weekend with this lovely girl. It was going great for a while, and eventually I had to ask her a question. Damn girl, are you a newspaper? She goes, no, why? I said, because you got a new issue every fucking day.
Last weekend you were with our pal.
Shut up. You know. Way to ruin a joke. Right. Okay, I've got one more story. Then we're gonna go and look at the confirmation on the championship standings. Okay. A Mobius strip was sobbing as it walked into a bar. And the bar.
Fucking Mobius strip.
You don't know what a Mobius strip is? Interesting. Okay, I'm not going to tell you. So anybody that knows what a Mobius strip is, you'll get this. Anyone that doesn't, you're going to have to Google it. So, a Mobius strip was sobbing as it walked into a bar. And the bartender said, "What's wrong?" And the Mobius strip replied, "Where do I even begin?" Now, Ray won't get that at all. Someone out there will. And I will kind of let you know, I know what a Mobius strip is. So anyway. Right, Ray, thank you for joining us on commentary.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Get your jokes sorted for next week.
Don't you worry. I won't. Right, it's been a fantastic race. Let's go check out then the result and the championship standings. Demon R taking the victory in the maximum 20 points ahead of Steve F1 in second place. Twilight held on for third, 15 points for him. SGP was close but not close enough, fourth place, 13 points for him. SRI was first to see the checkered flag but wasn't first, fifth place for him, 12 points. And then we've got David Harp in 6th on 11, Hay in 7th on 10, Bob in 8th on 9, Gary on 9 on 8. Not easy to say that. And then Rich in 10th on 7. Okay, so the championship standings. Demon R extends that gap by an extra 3 points. He's now 4 ahead of Steve F1, 123 and 119 respectively. SGP still in third place on 97 points, got a bit of a gap to Twilight in fourth, who's now on 78. Now we have a bit of a big change. SRI jumping up 4 places to now be in 5th place on 64. Dave the Harp follows him to 6th place on 62 points as Jason, Conrad, Artpal all drop down. So yeah, Jason 60 points, Conrad 57, Artpal 52. Gary now very close to the back of Artpal in 10th place on 51 points. And then we've got a bit of a gap to Hay in 11th, who's just ahead of Bob in 12th, who's 5 ahead of Rich in 13th. And then a bit of a gap to Jimmy in 14th. Unfortunately, a few drivers unable to make today's race. As we mentioned, though, the very special Jason got his days wrong. But from what I gather, he did win the race that he attended because nobody else was there. Do need to quickly mention as well, next week the race video is going to be late coming out because the DGT guys are meeting up for a bit of a session down at Donington Park to watch the British GT Championship at that weekend, so should be good fun. We've got our t-shirts and everything ready, so if you happen to see us, say hello. It'd be amazing if someone there said hello that we didn't know. Obviously it'd be a bit weird if it was just all of us saying hello to each other. It's like, oh hello, you're that DGT driver, you see your t-shirt. Yeah, you know what I mean. Right, have a good one everybody. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you all again soon.